Hey, church family, thank you for joining us for today's Daily Devotional. It's Wednesday. We are getting closer and closer to our holidays. And so today we're going to continue to look at just looking at God's love for us here and again in First John chapter 4. And we're going to look at two verses and just kind of walk through what these verses are talking about and really seeing how these verses have a really deep theological purpose behind them as they kind of talk about who God is and then in the end who we are with God. And so these verses are in First John chapter 4, and it's verses 16 and 17. And they read, "And we have come to know and to believe the love that God has for us. God is love, and the one who remains in love remains in God, and God remains in him. In this, love is made complete with us, so that we may have confidence in the day of judgment, because as he is, so also are we in this world." There's a lot there, and it could seem a little confusing if you're just trying to read that and work through it on your own. And so there's just a couple of main things, though, that we need to see here. And the first is one of the oldest ideas and really one of the most phenomenal ideas as believers that exists, and that is that God is love. It's not that God loves, although God does love, but God in and of himself is love. And here in this verse, the writer is specifically talking about God, how God is relational, how God is love, and in that love is relational. And so we see God is a relational being in the Trinity. It plays out in the Trinity how each person of the Trinity unites and works together with the other perfectly, with no issues whatsoever. And there's love in that. And we see it an even greater expression of love and relationship when we see that God created us, and God created us to be relational beings. We, as humans, naturally, apart from maybe mental illness or other factors, we want to be in relationships with others, and God created us that way. He created us to be in relationships with people and to love people. Unfortunately, we have rebelled against that relationship. We rebelled against God and broken that relationship. But then we see another picture of God's love and his desire to be relational. And that is the fact that he sent Christ as a sacrifice for us. God is love, and he shows this great picture of love as he sacrifices his son to heal the relationship that we broke, that he made and we broke. What a picture of God as love and God as relational. And so when we look at God and we question whether or not he is love, or we question his love, or we question the relationship that he's created, we can always turn and look at the sacrifice of Christ for us and know that he truly does love us. And even further, when we choose to live lovingly towards him and towards the world around us, we're going to continue to see his relationship and his love, him as love, played out in our lives as a constant reminder of the gospel and how it's completely changed us. So our author gives us a couple of questions for us to look at here. The first is, in your own words, what does it mean that God is love? So just kind of putting that in your own words. And then the second question, how does love give us confidence concerning the judgment? Hey, church family, I hope you'll take a moment just to work through those questions and really kind of bask in the idea that God doesn't just love us, but that God is love, and we experience love because he loved us first. And as you're doing that, I want you to know that we love you and we're praying for you.